Hi again, everyone. This is part 2 of the parts of speech explanation video that accompanies the PowerPoint. So we just left off with talking about physical and mental action verbs versus linking verbs. Okay, so verbs can do 3 things. They can show physical or mental action, number 1. Number 2, they can link the subject to some sort of concept through a linking verb. And number 3, they can help a core verb or a root verb or a main verb. So let's go to the next slide. Talk about helping verbs. So we already talked about the actions and the action and linking verbs. So we're going to talk about verbs as helpers, also known as auxiliary verbs. They help the main verb express action or some state of being or time or mood or aspect. So all the be verbs can be helping verbs: is, are, was, were, am, plus words like can, could, should, did, do, does, had, has, have, may, might, must, will, and would. All right. So his doctor has designed an exercise program for him. This is the core verb here. Has tells us that he has done it sometime in the past. He will be using a back extension machine. Using is the main verb. And remember we said ing verbs must have a helping verb in order to be the main verb of a sentence. So will be is there are 2 helping verbs for using. Meaning, we're telling someone that it's something that's going to happen in the future. If I said he is using, that would mean he's doing it right now. So they help express a tense in terms of past tense, future tense, present tense. You should try acupuncture. Now, this is sort of like a recommendation. So it's not something about tense. He should have remained at home, right? If I said he did remain at home, then that tells us something completely different. This is also some sort of recommendation. When we use helping verbs, when we're asking a question, we usually split the helping verb and the main verb with the subject. Does he walk indoors on a treadmill? If we made this into a sentence, subject verb order, we would say he does walk indoors on a treadmill. But when we ask the question, the helping verb comes first. Alrighty. Then we move on to adverbs. So adverbs modify a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So they can modify a verb. They're not a helping verb, though. That's different. So when they modify or describe a verb, they give us more information about the verb, like they answer questions: where, when, how, and to what extent. So answering the question where, we lived there, right? There tells us where we lived, so it modifies the verb lived. Please step up. Up tells where. We're asking someone to step, which is the action, so it's modifying the verb. May we go tomorrow? So tomorrow is answering the question, when are we going? That's the verb, go. Please water the plant weekly. So weekly tells when we should water, which in this case is an action, right? I'm not saying I want a drink of water, which would be a noun. This expresses action. Answering the question how, she quickly agreed, right? How did she agree? Quickly. And you will see that there are many adverbs that end in ly, but that's just a little flag that goes up that should catch your attention, but it doesn't mean that every word ending in ly is an adverb. If I say my neighbor is friendly, friendly is an adjective modifying my neighbor. So just something to look out for. You see an ly word, think it could be an adverb. Many times it is. All right, she drive carefully. So carefully tells how we should drive. Drive is the action, and that's the verb. To what extent? Fill the tank completely. To what extent should we fill, which is the verb, right? That's the action we're telling someone to do, fill it. To what extent? Completely. He hardly moved. So, to what extent did he move, which is an action? Hardly. All right. Let's find the adverbs. The soldier must travel quietly. I'm just going to read these with you. If you become really lost, blow the whistle. It is especially wise to check the forecast. We have a fully stocked first aid kit. Calvin was almost never there. The books were stocked rather haphazardly. So these all give us practice in adverbs that modify not just verbs, but also adjectives and other adverbs. So let's go to the next one. This tells us, quietly tells us how the soldier traveled. So the soldier must travel, right? This whole thing is the verb. So in this case, quietly tells us how he must travel. All right. If you become really lost, blow the whistle. So remember, if I said I became lost, we know that this is a linking verb, linking I to something that's describing me. I'm lost. Okay. How, to what extent am I lost? Really lost. So this adverb is modifying the adjective lost. It is especially wise to check the forecast. So again, this linking verb is joining or linking up the it to wise. It is wise. All right. To what extent is it wise? Especially wise. And remember, this is an adjective modifying the it. So to what extent is it wise? Especially. Now we have an adverb, especially, modifying the adjective wise. We have a fully stocked first aid kit. So the kit is the noun here. First aid tells us what kind of a kit. It's a stocked first aid kit. Both of these are adjectives. To what extent is it stocked? Fully. It's not a fully first aid. It's not a fully kit, right? This is an adjective. It's a stocked kit, so that's an adjective. So fully tells us to what extent. It's the adverb modifying the adjective. Calvin was almost never there. Okay. Actually, all of these should be green. All right. Because if I said Calvin was there, it tells us where Calvin was. And where is one of the question's adverbs answer, right? Where was he? He was there. This tells us to what extent he was there. Never. Another adverb. So we've got an adverb, first adverb modifying the verb was. Then we have an adverb modifying this adverb. And then to what extent was he never there? Almost never. So adverb, modifying adverb, modifying adverb, modifying verb. That's a handful. Okay. The books were stocked rather haphazardly. So were stocked is the verb, right? How were they stocked? They were stocked haphazardly. So this adverb modifies the verb were stocked. To what extent were they haphazardly stocked? Rather haphazardly. Okay. Okay. Moving along now to prepositions. Okay. It's hard to get out of the verb mentality. Here we are moving along to prepositions. Prepositions do not show action, so do not associate them with verbs. They show direction or relationship to an object. It also always has to be relationship to an object. If there's a preposition but there's no object, then it's not functioning as a preposition. It's probably functioning as something else. most often an adverb. So, common prepositions: about, aboard, above, across, after, in, to, with, on, off, onto, out, outside, upon. So again, find the prepositions in the sentence and they have to have an object, right? Welcome aboard the boat. So aboard is the preposition because it has an object, right? It has a relationship to the boat. Aboard the boat. Welcome aboard. Notice that there's no preposition afterwards. That means it is not a preposition. I'm sorry, there's no object after it, so it means it's not a preposition. I just threw that in just to show you. I'm welcoming you somewhere. Where? Aboard. So that's functioning as an adverb. The paper fell behind the cabinet. So we have this word shows relationship to the object cabinet. Behind is the preposition. Its object is the cabinet. John called to Nancy and me. To is the preposition and the objects are Nancy and me. I am from Alabama. From is the preposition. Alabama is the object. I am going to the mall with my friend Jackie. To is the preposition. The mall is its object. With is the preposition. And frequently we have prepositional phrases strung together. They are known as modifying phrases. They tell us where or other information. I'm going to the mall with my friend Jackie. So with is the preposition in this second prepositional phrase, and my friend Jackie is the object. Many animals live in the ocean near the coast. Again, we have two prepositional phrases. Live is the preposition. In the ocean is its object. Near is the preposition in the next prepositional phrase, and the object is the coast. Okay. And again, right, this explains what I just talked you through. So conjunctions. Conjunctions are just like what they sound. A junction is a place where two things meet, right? Conjunction, con means with in Latin. So conjunction means joining words. They're words that join other words or word groups together. Okay, common conjunctions. Well, I should say coordinating conjunctions. There's other kinds of conjunctions. We won't get into that right here. But common coordinating conjunctions are represented by this acronym FANBOYS. So each letter stands for a conjunction. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. All right, find the conjunctions in the sentences below. The streets and sidewalks are clean. And joins these two words, street and sidewalks. Excuse me. Judy wrote down the number, but she lost it. But joins two clauses. I love to write, yet I'm going to have to take a sip of water here. Excuse me. I love to write, yet I sometimes get writer's block. Again, we're joining. Yet is the conjunction that joins this independent clause, I love to write, with this independent clause, I sometimes get writer's block. I wanted ice cream, so I flagged down Mr. Softy. So is the conjunction that, again, joins two independent clauses. But notice that each one of these coordinating conjunctions indicates the relationship, if you will, of those two clauses. I wanted this, so I did that. In other words, cause and effect. I love to write, yet I sometimes get writer's block. Yet tells us that there's some contrast or oppositional ideas in these two in relation to one another. But does the same thing as yet. It's a contrast and just joins and gives additional information. Do you want vanilla or chocolate? Again, it's just joining these two words and asking which one. Neither Jack nor Jill, neither nor do this similar thing to or. I'm running out of time again, so I'm going to have to pick up on part 3. Over and out.